All right, we're live. Welcome to episode 67 of the Baduk Weiqi Podcast. I'm Xiao Dai.
And I'm Gaza.
Gaza, I guess it's better late than never.
Yeah, I was about to say that. We apologise for the delay. Turns out we've missed a week.
This is the first time we've missed a week, mostly because I've been a bit sick and there's a bunch of other stuff I have to deal with. If I cough, that's just because I haven't fully recovered. Now, Gaza, this week we're going to talk about. There's so many massive things. Like before the show, we discussed what, if anything, we can possibly cut out, and then it turns out everything is at the final stage, or in fact, the final have completed for everything they wanted to talk about. So there's no room to cut anything. But this week we're going to talk about the Honinbo. Definitely at the end of an era there. The Kuksu Mountains Cup, some really interesting things that's happened there, and the Longxing final from China, and also we got the Gosei, which has also come to its conclusion this week, and the Senko Cup, something very interesting there. Where of course Senko Cup is a domestic and women's competition in Japan. And we're going to update you guys on the Eunji before we go to the calendar. But Gaza, let's start with Honinbo. Look at this. Look how happy this guy is. This is Ichiriki, of course.
Now, do you recall how we ended our last podcast? Our last podcast ended after day one of Honinbo Game 7.
Where we try to... Where I was saying how bad Ichiriki's group looked. And, he was, Yama had so many options. One of them was to cut. Or is that one?
Yeah, that one where we basically decided that the game was uninteresting and was clearly going to end in Iyama's favor.
Yeah, wow. I guess when you look at this picture, you know that the game has been reversed. It has been reversed. Well, to be fair to me, I actually did say that the game is still playable. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a reverse, and it did happen. Because this Honinbo, so basically Ichiriki has won this 4-3 after leading the series 3-1.
Yes, so, the Honinbo is a best of 7. Well, this edition is a best of 7. It turns out this will be the last edition that is a best of 7.
So in many ways, this Honinbo is the end of an era in so many ways, because not only is this the last Honinbo, there will be a best of 7, a 2-day game final with the league that produces a challenger. It's also ends Yama's 11-year reign as the Honinbo title holder.
Yes, and that's interesting because the previous record holder for most consecutive Honinbos was by the legendary Cho Chi-hoon.
Right.
And once Iyama broke it by getting to 11, Cho Chi-hoon said, I want to see you get to 20. I want to see you win 9 more. And Iyama decided he was going to win 0 more.
Yeah.
And leave it at 11.
Yes. Which
obviously he didn't decide that. Ichiriki decided that Iyama was going to end his streak at 11. But yes, it is very interesting because if we still consider the Honinbo to be one of the big 3, Iyama now only does not hold the Honinbo, but he doesn't hold the other big 2 titles either, the Kisei or the Meijin. And that would be the first time in 11 years that he hasn't held any of those, obviously.
Yes. Now at Yama's age, if he was in maybe China, Korea, he wouldn't be really expected to be in his prime anymore. So maybe the same is happening to him in Japan. He's maybe coming off the boil.
Can we have a quick look at the game after what happened at the end of day 1?
So what I got here is the Kifu. I think day 1 it was a reasonably short game because that's how this game ended.
That was it. Yes.
And as we mentioned last time, Ichiriki is running a white group over here. This white group has no eyes, and there's a very obvious cutting point. Black is fairly solid everywhere with basically no weak groups, and I was advocating for black to press from the top here, just to so that black destroys any chance of white building a moyo, and kind of putting pressure indirectly on the white group. That was kind of my move. And guys, what was your move that you wanted to make?
I think I just wanted to make some more space on the left.
Okay, you want to jump here?
Just a 2-point jump on the left hand side.
Yeah. And of course, I thought that the cutting, of course, looks very tempting, but I thought it was a kind of vulgar idea. I don't know, maybe. But guys, what's actually happened in the game? It actually isn't that far away from cutting, actually. So Yama just attach here and then cut. So I don't know what is the idea behind this attachment, but there must be some variation where this attachment helps. But then cut it is. But guys, I don't know if you want to mention anything very interesting about this point, but
if you look now at the position, the white group is suddenly a lot stronger. I mean, black has made some third line territory on the left, but in return, white's group is not really in any danger anymore. And that cutting stone doesn't look very effective. It will end up that cutting stone
doing something.
It will end up being useful RG.
Yes.
Allowing black to push through on the left, but really, the white group is
it's no longer in danger
for it anymore, and Ichiriki can now deal with other areas of the board.
And I remember following the game live, and I think sorry. It's around this point when you said that, it looks like Ichiriki's built a huge moyo in the middle. Something like that. And that's actually true. So, guys, there's one point of the game where I found it's very interesting. So, it looks like Ichiriki Yama is just playing super safe here, like connecting. It's like saying, I don't want any weakness in my groups. I think I have enough. That usually is the beginning of the end. Or at least the beginning of allowing your opponent to have a huge comeback, a huge reversal.
Yes, and very strange that someone as experienced and tenacious as Iyama would be playing so timidly. I would have expected Ichiriki to be the one who was a bit more anxious, more cautious. But
whatever happened, when I saw this move, I had a bad feeling for Yama, because this, for so many games that get reversed, this is kind of how it begins when you play too, as you say, timidly. Like, it's basically saying that, I want to play it super safe. I don't want any weakness in my group. And that's what happened. And actually, now I also didn't fully understand this cut, because but it looks like Yama has made a really clever use of this cut over here.
The RG is very good.
He actually got away from. He actually made use of the stone, and he actually Atari all the way and connected, and so he basically managed to use the cut to get into white's middle, like destroy a lot of white's middle. But I do believe that at this point, AI is already assessing them to be very close. In fact, it may already be that white is slightly ahead, because white actually did gain quite a lot. Just capturing these stones in the corner, and also over here, making basically, now if you look at black's move, it looks fairly slow, because it really didn't. I mean, if black was going to destroy this territory, then black might actually play a bit more. Like, some of these stones could be actually spent over here to build up more territory. But whatever it is, I think it ended up being a very interesting game anyway, that I think they keep fighting for a bit, but ultimately Ichiriki just got the better of Yama and actually won the Honinbo. So I don't know if there's any other point in the game you wanted to mention, Gaza, but it's a really dramatic reversal of fortunes here for both players. So I guess all I can say is congrats to Ichiriki. As we mentioned, it's end of an era for sure. And let's see what we... I have a feeling that I will see a lot more of Ichiriki versus Iyama in the coming days.
Can you just remind me? So the Honinbo used to be... This version of the Honinbo had a title match with 7 games. Each game was 2 days long. And the challenger was determined by a league. Now, in the future editions, it will be a 5-game title match. Each game is 1 day.
Yep.
And the challenger will be determined by a knockout. Can you just remind me why that's the case? Why it's been downgraded?
Because they don't have money.
Right.
So Gaza, this is maybe a remnant of how the Japanese system works, because in Japan, a lot of these major competitions are sponsored by newspapers. In fact, they are basically treated as almost like a selling point or intellectual property of the newspaper, in a way that the key food for these key games are often serialized on the newspapers. And I mean, Go was such a popular board game in the old days that newspapers would fight to sponsor a big tournament of their own, and that's why you see all these different tournaments being sprung up. So, for example, if this tournament was sponsored by, I don't know what newspaper it is, I don't know, but another newspaper is basically not allowed to serialize the kifus. In fact, other newspapers don't even report on these competitions. But as you can imagine, being sponsored by a newspaper is a double-edged sword, because now newspapers are no longer the industry that it once was, because all this digital media and things are eating into their revenue stream. So newspapers are probably doing it tough. So as you can imagine, the newspapers aren't probably making as much money as before, and Go, due to its downward trajectory in terms of popularity in Japan, may just be having fewer fans. So newspapers finding it hard to justify their spending on these tournaments. Now, apparently, even though the winner takes home about 300,000 USD or so, 300 to 400,000 USD, the cost, the budget for running the whole competition, including the leagues and the prelims and all of that, actually comes out to be around 10 times the prize money of the winner. That's what I've heard. So newspapers actually spend 3 to 4 million a year just on running a Go competition. So I mean, it's kind of understandable why some of them want to stop spending that kind of money, especially if their economy isn't friendly to these traditional medias anymore. So, and Gaza,
Go competition.
Yeah.
I just want to segue here, but interestingly enough, the Pro Weiqi Podcast is actually sponsoring a Go competition.
Oh, wow. Great.
Yeah. The Pro Weiqi Podcast is sponsoring the New South Wales State Championships.
Oh, wow.
It's our first sponsorship of a tournament.
Yeah. And New South Wales is a state in Australia, yeah?
That's right. It's a state in Australia. It's actually the state that I live in.
Yep.
This money isn't the sponsorship money. It's not coming from the Patreon. It's coming from another revenue source that we have. But
oh wow, very nice.
Yeah, I can assure you, it's not 3 million US dollars.
Yes. Wow. Let's see. Well, maybe a new media like us can sponsor a proper tournament one day. Maybe we'll call it.
New South Wales State Championships is a proper tournament.
Yeah, it's a proper tournament. We're going to sponsor the Australian Honinbo one day, when the Honinbo no longer exists in Japan. But that's my theory about why things aren't so happening. But apparently, Japan, Nihon King tried very hard to save this competition. What was in the news was that they actually tried to even cancel this competition altogether. So there was not going to be even Honinbo, and they managed to talk them into just downgrading the competition and spending a lot less. So if they have downgraded the competition to around 70,000 USD, the prize money for the winner. So if you times it by 10, the cost of running this competition has now dropped to around 700,000. So about a quarter to a fifth of what it used to cost. So huge reduction in cost. But I guess I'm glad it's still happening instead of just being cancelled.
I'm grateful that it's still happening in whatever form.
Yeah.
Honestly, even if it's a knockout, I mean, a lot of strong tournaments are knockouts. I mean, most world majors are knockouts.
Yeah. And guys, I have a theory. Japanese Go is losing popularity because Japanese players aren't doing so well in international competitions. I guess that's a bit of a chicken and an egg problem. Now, Gaza, this is a bit off topic, but I do know which of chicken or the egg came first. But I'll talk about that a bit later. But as I said, Japanese players aren't doing so well in international competitions, but there is Japanese representation in the Kuksu Mountains Cup. What happened there, Gaza, in the Kuksu Mountains Cup? Or maybe, Gaza, tell us what is actually the Kuksu Mountains Cup.
The Kuksu Mountains Cup is an annual international competition.
Is it like LG Cup?
It's not quite on the level of a world major. It's not considered to be a world major, but it is an international competition.
Right.
And it does feature many of the strongest players in the world.
Yeah. Now, except the Chinese number one, Kerje, has never played in this competition.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
But that being said, it's not like a competition where, none of the top 10 are present. Basically, everyone except in China, basically all of the top players, with the exception of Kerje, tried to qualify for this tournament. But it's a 16-player knockout competition. Every round is knockout, including the final. So the final is just a single game.
Yeah.
It features 8 Korean players, 3 Chinese players, 3 Japanese players, and 2 Taiwanese players.
Yep.
And it takes place over 3 days. So it's 16 players, so they do play 4 rounds in 3 days.
Yeah.
The quarterfinals, the round of 16 and the quarterfinals take place on the same day. The next day is the semifinals, and then the third day is the final.
Right.
Now, each game is, I believe it is 30 minutes with 3 40-second Byoyomi periods.
Right.
So compared to a world major, it's certainly a faster competition. But yeah, that's the Kuksu Mountains International Tournament. Now, this is the 9th edition of the tournament. I believe the first 4 editions were actually team events.
Right. Yep.
So only from the 5th edition onwards was it an individual competition. Now, because it's called the Kuksu, as you can guess, for those familiar with Korean, this is a Korean-hosted and organized tournament.
Yep.
Hence why half of the participants are Korean. All of the top Korean players are either in the tournament or attempted to qualify. So,
right, yeah.
Players like Shin Jin-so, Park Chun-hwan, Byun Sangil, they're all there. For China, the 3 players that qualified were Hwan Yun-song, Fan Ting-yu, and She Ke.
Yep.
From Japan, now, Iyama and Ichiriki were unavailable.
Yep.
As we'll figure out later. We'll explain later why they were not available.
Yep.
But Shibano was available. He played.
Yep.
As were the Ida Atsushi and Sada Atsushi.
Yeah.
No relation, by the way.
Oh yeah. Well, by the way, Atsushi, Sada and Ida are basically their family name, surname. So Atsushi is basically their given name.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Very interesting. Thanks.
Yes.
Thanks for letting me know that. Now, and then for Taiwan's number 1 player, Zhu Haohong, was there. also Lin Shu Yang from China. Now,
Lin Xuan from Taiwan, you mean? Yeah.
sorry, from Taiwan.
Or from the Republic of China, yes. Okay.
Now, unlike the last few editions of the Kuksu,
Yeah.
the previous few editions of the Kuksu were played remotely via computers, including games that were played between Korean players.
Yeah.
This time around, though, because COVID restrictions are relaxed, all of the players were present in person.
Yep, very nice.
All of these games were played in person.
Yeah.
Now, unlike World Majors, another difference between this and the World Majors is unlike World Majors where they redraw.
Yeah.
They do a redraw every round. The draw is fixed from the start.
Right.
In this one. So it is possible to have two players from the same country play each other when it otherwise could have been avoided.
Yep.
And what I found interesting in the draw was that there was a potential Shinjinso versus Shaker quarterfinal meeting.
Yeah.
If they both won their first game, then they would meet up in the quarterfinals. And the reason why that's interesting is because these two players will soon meet in the In-Cup final.
Yes. Looking forward to that. Yep.
Unfortunately, however, while Shinjinso did win his game, Shaker did not. I believe Shaker lost to Kim Young-hoon.
By half a point.
Yes?
Yes.
So, yeah, Shaker, although he did well to qualify for this tournament, not so well in the tournament itself, unfortunately for him.
No.
In other... For Taiwan, Zhu Haohong did beat Park Min-kyu for Korea.
Yep.
Shibano ended up springing a little bit of an upset. He beat Park Jun-kwan.
Yeah, which I thought was the result of the day, an upset of the day.
Yeah, Korea's number 2. I will say though, I haven't glanced at Park Jun-kwan's recent results in World Majors, but I believe it's quite poor.
Right.
I might just quickly try and check now.
Yeah.
In the LG Cup, the current LG Cup that hasn't finished.
Yeah.
Yes, he lost in his first game. He lost in the first game to Wang Jinghao.
Right.
So that was in the round of 16. In last year's Samsung Cup, he did okay. He ended up losing to Shinjin So.
Yeah.
In the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Nothing strange there, but
yeah,
he hasn't done too well recently. I would say, but in any case, well done to Shibano.
Yep.
And for China, Sheker lost. Huan Yun-song, he also lost to Byun Sangil, but Fan Ting-yu did win. He beat Lee Won-do. So in the quarterfinals, there was one Chinese player, one Japanese player, and one Taiwanese player, and then 5 Korean players. Yeah. So every country was still represented in the quarterfinals.
Yep.
The quarterfinal games, Shinjin So had a bit of a scare against Kim Young-hoon. Looked to be losing.
Yeah.
But ended up prevailing.
Yeah.
Shibano, he actually won. He beat Kim Ji-sok.
Yeah.
So he made it to the semi-finals.
Very nice.
Very good result for Shibano and for Japan.
Yeah.
Fan Ting-yu fell to Byun Sangil.
Yeah.
So, that's China gone.
Yeah. So even though Fan Ting-yu beat Lee Won-do, he fell to the Lee Kwon-do of Byun Sangil.
Okay. Very nice. And then Zhu Haohong, he also lost. He lost to Shin Min-jun. So Taiwan were eliminated as well. So in the semi-finals, we had 3 Koreans and 1 Japanese player. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Now, the semi-finals, Shinjin So made light work of Shibano to remove Japan's hopes, while Shin Min-jun beat last year's finalist and the previous year's champion, Byun Sangil. And then in the final was between Shin Min-jun and Shinjin So.
Yeah.
And another sort of upset here, Shin Min-jun ended up winning.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
He played a very outstanding game, especially considering the time controls.
Yeah.
And won against Shin Jin-so.
Because I think you mentioned that Shin Min-jun supposedly is better at longer time controls.
Yes, I consider him to be stronger at longer time controls. A lot of his best results, the LG Cup and the Myungin, are longer time controls.
And if I'm not wrong, Shin Min-jun had just lost a final versus Shin Jin-so 3-0, something like that.
That was the Weiqi Construction Cup,
right,
which has even faster time controls than the.
And based on my stats, it says that Shin Min-jun has lost 6 games versus Shin Jin-so straight before this win. So it's if you look at his last 7 games, Shin Min-jun basically gone 1-6 versus Shin Min-jun, but he did win that one game where it counted quite a bit.
Yes, he did. Yes, so congratulations to him. I don't know what the prize money is. It's not very big. I know that much.
Yeah, I think it would be maybe about a third of the lowest Japanese title.
I can
something
look it
like it's about 75 million won. So that would be around 400,000 renminbi. So that would be actually equivalent to a minor title in Japan, actually.
Yeah, that's only slightly more than the GS Caltex Cup, and the Korea's Strongest tournament, which is the biggest prize money in Korea. Yeah. They're both 70 million won. So this is 75 million won.
Yeah, that's actually decent, actually. Not bad for a quick.
It's not bad, yes. But for example, I think the lowest prize money world major is the Chunlan Cup, which is at least twice that amount.
About double that, yeah. Probably probably a bit, yeah. Probably somewhere around double that, yeah.
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 So, but still, yeah.
Still pretty good.
Good for him. No one's actually there's been 5 editions of this tournament and nobody has won it twice. We've got Shin Jin-so, Park Jun-hwan, Byun Sangil, Shin Min-jun, and Chen Yao-ye have all won this tournament.
Okay, so I guess the other highlight of this competition is how Shibano actually made it to the semi-final. This is a bit of a rarity nowadays for Japanese players. I think the last time a Japanese player has made an international tournament semi-final was in the In Cup by Ichiriki Ryo, who then lost to Shaker.
Yes, I believe that was the last time, and that was in a world major. But I think this is Shibano's first time reaching the semi-final of an international competition.
Yeah, so well done to Shibano. And that is the Kuksu Mountains Cup. I don't think there was anything else that was too interesting, but I did remember looking through the key foods for Shin Jin-so versus Ida Atsushi. I think it was. It felt like that he was never. Shin Jin-so was never in danger. He was just always had it in control, and I felt the same when I looked at the key food for Shin Jin-so.
That was actually an interesting game. I wouldn't say that Shin Jin-so was completely out of danger there, but it was a typical Shin Jin-so game. He made the game extremely complicated.
Yeah,
and his opponent was just unable to solve every issue in the time that he had. Yeah,
and I think it was like a capturing race, and then
it was a capturing race.
Yeah, it got really. Watching the capturing race was just like looking at magic, because at some point I thought Shin Jin-so was in deep trouble. He was going to lose, but then a few moves later, he's cut here, break the other guy up over there, and suddenly Ida Sushi had to resign. Just crazy. So that's it for the Kuksu Mountains Cup. Switching to China for a little bit, and we have the Longxing Cup as well. And actually, on Pro Weiqi Reddit, there's only a mention of who made the finals, which happens to be Li Weiqing and Ding Hao. Both of them were, if I'm not wrong, both of them were born post the year 2000. And I believe this might even have been Li Weiqing's first appearance in a final, if I'm not wrong. Now, looking in the studio, looking over at the two players outside of camera is Chang Hao over here, the newly elected president of the Chinese Weiqi Association. So the general, the red phone general, the general with the red hotline is gone.
Thank God.
Now Chang Hao is the president. And vice president is Gu Li. So that's not a bad team, I'd say. 11 international titles between them, so that's crazy. He's looking very stern, looking over the what's happening over the goal board. I think Chang Hao's got really high hopes for these two players for sure. And it happens that I believe the final has also happened. It turns out that Li Weiqing has beaten Ding Hao and have won the Longxing title. Longxing, of course, is the...
Can you just give an overview as to how the Longxing works? Because it's not a knockout. It's not a knockout competition. It's an interesting format.
Yeah, so I don't know if I can find the graphics to make it a bit more clear, but guys, I believe it's something like this. For example, looking at this kind of chart over here, I think you have to. I don't know how the Chinese system works, but I think in the Japanese system you have to kind of keep. It's like a really strange step ladder where you have to play players that are one step above you in the ladder. And if you win,
if you actually scroll down, it works similar to the Ryusei.
Ryusei, okay, yeah.
So what happens is there are two blocks, Block A and Block B, and if for those that are older like me, you may have played a game called Mortal Kombat.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like a fighting game, and in single player, there's like a tower, and you start at the bottom level of the tower. You fight an opponent. If you beat them, you move up a level of the tower.
Right.
And you fight the next opponent.
Yeah.
That's basically what happens here. There's a hierarchy of players in that block. The two lowest players, the two bottom players in that hierarchy, they'll play each other. The winner will move up a rung in the ladder. Yeah. And play the next person. Yeah. And basically, you just have to keep winning. If you lose, you don't play anymore. And if you win, you play in the next game against the next waiting opponent. Yeah. And then what happens is, from those two blocks, two players will qualify for the final stage of the tournament. The player that wins the final game and the player that wins the most games. Yeah. Now, as you can see, so basically, if you look for those watching on YouTube, if you look here, Ding Hao was actually the second top player in the hierarchy. So he was in the second last match. Gosei Hao ended up being his opponent. So Ding Hao won that. So then he moved on to the final match, which was against Ke. Yeah. And Ding Hao won that. So he won the final game. Ke only needed to win one game to make the final stage, but he didn't. Ding Hao won it. Yeah. And it turned out that nobody won more than 2 games in that block. Yeah. So it was the highest ranked player in that hierarchy to win 2 games. Yeah. Also qualifies. And Ding Hao, obviously, he already qualified as the final winner. So Li Weiqing was the next highest ranked player with 2 wins. Yes. And then in Block B, you see Miyu Ting. He was the third in the hierarchy, but he won all 3 of his games. Nice. And then Zhu Jiayang, he was the only other player to win multiple games. So he also qualified. Very nice. So basically, even if you're the lowest rated, even if you're the lowest player on the block in the hierarchy, as long as you win enough games to have the most wins, you'll still make the final stage. Yeah. So it is very interesting, and obviously the top player in the hierarchy, they also have a big advantage because they only need to win 1 game to make the knockout stage. Yeah. So that's why the champion decision tournament is made up of Ding Hao and Xu Jiayang, Miyu Ting, and Li Weiqing, as Gaza explained. And it looks like once they got into that, it's just a knockout, and then the final is a best of 3. Yes, that's true. Yeah. And I also heard about a story from this tournament where when Ke played Ding Hao, so Ding in Chinese also means to use the microwave for the sound that the microwave makes at the end. So Ke was asking Ding Hao, "Hey, Ding Hao. That's such a bad joke. Yeah. Yeah. Ke wanted to know from Ding Hao how to use the microwave, so he said Ding Hao. Get it? Said that joke out loud. Yeah. Do you get why that's not funny? I mean, I guess
I don't understand why people don't have a sense of humor. But
now, according to Fox, now I've learned a little bit of Fox lingo since I got an account.
Oh yeah,
And
meow.
if you have a silver crown next to your name, that means you've either made an international final, or you have won a domestic competition. Now, Li Weiqi did not have a silver crown next to his name during these games, which means I believe this is his first ever title.
Yes, I believe so. That it does say that this is his first title. Now, this is the year 2023. If Li Weiqi was born in the year 2000, which I think it is.
I actually believe he was born in 2001.
Okay, so he's like 22, 23 kind of age. So he's just won his first title, which is not bad. But by the way,
it's never too late to win your first title, and he was born in 2000. So
right, yes. And the prize money for this competition is about 200,000, which is about roughly half that of the Kuksu Mountains Cup. So
it could be about $50,000 in Australia.
That's actually not bad. So that's it about the Longxing. So hopefully we'll see more of things to come for Li Weiqi. But it does feel like that before Li Weiqi and Ding Hao had too much of a chance to flex their muscles. We have Wang Xinghao coming up right from the behind and maybe overtaking them very soon. Because according to my model, Wang Xinghao is already ranked number 2 in the world. So very interesting scenes in the Chinese Weiqi pro scene in the next few years. But definitely Li Weiqi and Ding Hao will both play a part. Now, Gaza, shifting again back to Japan, we got another huge title being decided in Japan this week, and that is the Gosei.
Well, not necessarily being decided because it is a best of 5.
Best of 5, yes.
However, this week was Game 3, and Iyama Yuta was ahead 2-0 against Ichiriki.
Yes, I mean, it looks like we're gonna see these two names very, very often nowadays. Like this, basically.
Yes.
Them
now
two.
the Gosei is a domestic major in Japan. Not one of the big 2 or big 3, but it is one of the titles that Iyama still holds. He won it against, I believe, Ichiriki, I think a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that's right.
And he defended it again. He won 3-0 against Ichiriki last year, and this year he's looking to repeat that by winning 3-0 again.
Yeah.
And just 1 week earlier, as we said, Ichiriki had won the Honinbo against Iyama.
Yeah.
So Ichiriki, he's taken the Kisei off Iyama. He's now taken the Honinbo off Iyama. Iyama now only has left the Urza and this title, the Gosei.
Yeah.
And as you said, the challenger again is Ichiriki. Ichiriki seems like he has some sort of vendetta against Iyama.
Yeah.
But then again, Ichiriki was the previous Gosei title holder, so maybe he's just trying to get back.
And I think there's even a bit more to this title for Ichiriki, because I think I've mentioned this before, but I believe the Gosei title is actually sponsored by the newspaper group for which Ichiriki's father is the president. So Ichiriki's first title being the Gosei was huge, because I believe when he won the Gosei, the prop check and the winners things were handed over to him by his father. So that actually is a huge thing for Ichiriki. I bet he really wants to win this title back, even though he's now Kisei and Honinbo. But before this game, Yama was leading 2-0 in the series, and given it's a best of 5, Ichiriki must win Game 3. But Gaza...
Yes, and we don't have the result in the Pro Weiqi subreddit because we are lazy. Sorry about that. We haven't posted it yet. But Xiaodai, tell us who won Game 3.
Iyama Yuta, yes.
Iyama won Game 3. And I believe this game was played yesterday, as of this recording.
Right.
I think it was played yesterday.
Might have been, yes.
I didn't even, to be honest, watch the game live seriously enough. I didn't follow the Kifu.
No, I don't.
I haven't got the Kifu with me.
Me neither. So I don't know what's happened, but I bet.
I did watch the game, but I didn't. Usually when I watch the game, I'll also enter the moves in my local copy of Sabaki.
Yeah.
And run a 2-year-old Katago engine.
Yep.
Over it, just to get some sort of idea as to what's going on. This time I did not do that.
Oh wow!
But okay, I've got the Kifu on this website, 19x19.com. Iyama was white, Ichiriki was black, and Iyama won. It was it looked like it was a fairly close game up until move 150.
Okay.
Do you want to try and get the Kifu or?
I'm still trying to look for it. Actually, I can't find it on the.
Oh no, it's on Kifu Depot.
It's on Kifu Depot.
Yeah, I'll send you the link.
Right.
But yeah, I don't think because we haven't really looked at it. We can't really go over it. Hopefully, if people are interested in looking at the Kifu, maybe some other YouTube channel will discuss it, or feel free to go over it yourself. But
yeah, yeah. So
it seemed like I said, it seemed like a fairly close game, and then Ichiriki made a bad move around. Well, according to this, move 151 apparently was a bad Gosei move, and Iyama never recovered from there.
Yeah, it's hard to say what's happened, but again, so basically, even though Yama's lost the Honinbo, he's actually won. He retained the.
Oh, do those four blacks? Yeah, do those four black stones at the top just die?
Oh, that's not good. Probably a misread or something. So yes.
No, wait. Do they live? Oh, they live. No, they live. They live, but so does White's cutting stone. So.
Yeah.
Oh, actually,
black
they live.
Black isn't
they
alive.
live, but look what dies in the end. No, but look at what ends up dying if you keep going.
Yeah. Okay. Black lives.
Yeah, black lives here, but then look at that.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, that group there dies. That snake. Yeah.
Oh, not good. No.
That's GG.
Probably resigned.
That's GG. Well, they played a few more moves, but
yeah,
I mean that was it.
That's not good. That's not good.
Yeah.
Probably a misread by
yeah,
Ichiriki.
Probably a misread. It could have been time trouble.
Yeah. Okay.
I really don't know, but in the end, or maybe Ichiriki felt he was behind and he had to make some desperation play because it was all or nothing at this point.
Yeah.
Wow. But yeah, in the end, well done to Iyama. He retained the Gosei without sweating it. That's like he's won at least 7 consecutive games in Gosei title matches because he won it 3-0 last year, and he obviously won the final game 2 years ago.
Yeah. And guys, I have a feeling that by the end of the show, we'll talk about these two again. Very strange feeling. Sometimes I have these kind of things.
I did want to mention this game was played the same day as the Kuksu Mountains Cup final.
Yes.
So that's why these two players were not in the Kuksu. Iyama did participate in the Kuksu Mountains International last year. He lost in the first round.
Yeah.
To Kim Ji-sok. But this year he was not present. So and this is the reason why. Yeah,
wow. That's a bit sad. I think I'll see him in the Asian Games though, so let's see what happens. So that's the Gosei. So congrats to Iyama. Nagasa staying in Japan. We got another huge domestic tournament, which is the Women's Senko Cup. And this year, Gaza, would you say we have a little bit of a surprise winner there?
Well, this is, for those that are a little bit confused, there are 2 Senko Cups each year. One is the international version, which features 5 Japanese players and then 1 each from Korea, China, and Taiwan. This is the domestic. This one that we're covering here is the domestic version of the Senko Cup.
Yeah.
So it's a Japanese women's only tournament. The two are related. In fact, the 4 semi-finalists of this Senko Cup get spots in the International Senko Cup.
Yes.
But this year, the final was between New Eiko and Ueno Asami, and New Eiko actually won the Senko Cup last year, so she is the reigning Senko Cup champion. She beat Nakamura Sumire last year.
And Gaza, this Senko Cup is not a title challenger format, is it?
That's right. Yeah, so it's not. Yeah, that's right. So unlike most domestic competitions in Japan, this is not a title holder challenger. So New Eiko, didn't automatically get a spot in the final. She actually, won her way through to the final.
Yeah, which is
yet
crazy.
Again from the round of 16.
And
Yes.
I think New Eiko beat Ueno Risa, and then Suzuki Ayumi, and then Ueno Asami to win the title, which is crazy.
Yes. So as you have mentioned, New Eiko ended up winning the final this year as well.
Yeah.
This time against Ueno Asami.
Yeah, because last year New Eiko, I believe it was a big reversal. That's how he won the game versus Sumire. But then this year he's actually won the game, win the title again.
She has.
She has, yes. Which is quite remarkable, Gaza.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you consider that you wouldn't consider it to be one of the top 3 women in Japan. I mean, she hasn't won any other tournaments. I'm not even sure if she's made the final of any other tournaments.
No, I think she was in the league, but that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's been in some leagues. Yeah, and the funny thing is, no one has actually ever won the Senko Cup twice in a row before. New Eiko is actually the first one to do that.
Crazy.
So, yeah, quite impressive. I mean, again, for a knockout tournament, very impressive. I'm just trying to access her Nihon Key-in page to see, if she has. Well, it turns out, she has actually challenged for the women's Kisei 6 years ago, and she did actually make the final of the Senko Cup.
Oh wow!
5 years ago. So this is her third Senko Cup final.
So it's actually she's actually quite strong.
Her 4th final overall.
Yep.
But yeah, it's her 2nd title.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But she is actually quite a strong player, I guess.
Interestingly enough, when she she's a very strong player. When she made the final, when she challenged for the women's Kisei, she was a 1-dan. She's now a 4-dan. When she made the final of the Senko Cup 5 years ago, if this page can load, I'll try and find out. She was probably still a 1-dan then as well.
Yeah.
Yes, but is she in the Asian Games team? I don't think she is.
I'm not sure if she's even Japanese citizen.
Risa.
I'm not sure if she's even Japanese citizen, to be honest.
She was born in Japan, wasn't she?
Yeah, I don't know.
She was born in Japan.
But I think
she's born in Japan. I'm pretty sure she's
right.
I'm pretty sure she's just got Chinese heritage. I think she's completely Japanese.
Yeah, I'm not really sure because sometimes I hear that you don't necessarily get.
She was a 2-dan when she challenged for the Senko Cup 5 years ago. And now she's a 4-dan.
Right, and I think I mentioned this before. Her father, New Eiko's father, is actually a very famous Shangqi player from China, one of the grandmasters, like national champion. So he's got the genes. She's got the genes to do well in board games. That's for sure. So that's New Eiko over here, and this is Ueno Asami.
That was them playing the game or reviewing the game, I guess, or maybe playing it. I don't know.
Probably. Yeah, that's the start of the game, obviously. And that might have been Ueno Risa, or is that Asami?
That's Ueno Asami.
Okay,
during the game.
it's Asami. Okay. The two sisters do look alike from a certain
They
angle.
do look alike. Yeah, strangely enough.
Yeah. Okay, well, so that's it. Congrats to New Eiko. for defending the Senko Cup. To be honest, when I saw the news, it was a bit of a surprise, let's say, but I'm sure she deserves it. She's a really good player. Now, Gaza, from one really promising player in Japan, women's player, to another really potentially even more promising women's player, Choi Jong the second, Kim Eunji. What's she done this week? She's done something quite remarkable this week.
Yes, Korea has held yet another rookie competition.
Yep.
This one is sponsored by, I believe, a pharmaceutical company.
Right.
I've got no idea what it's called. The Joa Pharmaceutical Cup.
Right.
Rookie Baduk Hero match.
Hero, yes.
And this one was a very involved tournament. I want to try and see if I can find the
you want to find some info?
The format for it, but
yeah,
it involved a lot of rookies. Like,
wow.
Like maybe, I think it was 64 rookies, and I believe it involved amateur and professionals.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there were a lot of players, and it started off as, I think it was a double elimination tournament.
Right.
And then, you know what? I can't find it. So, it was a double elimination tournament to get it down to like 16 or something, and then they had knockout.
Yep.
And yeah, in the end, the two finalists were Kwon Hyojin and Kim Eunji.
Oh wow! And Kwon Hyojin is this guy over here, right?
I'm not looking at what.
Oh, this is Han Hyojin.
That's Han Hyojin. That's Kwon.
That's Kwon Hyojin. Yes.
Kwon
Okay.
Hyojin.
Yep.
Yes. And Kwon Hyojin, he recently won a rookie tournament. Like I said, they're having a lot of rookie tournaments in Korea. He recently won a rookie tournament this year. The rookie king or rookie strongest or something like that. Rookie strongest. He beat Kim Yum-seo.
Yep.
And he's made the final of this one. He's also sort of infamous for losing to Nakamura Sumire in the Samsung Cup.
Yep.
And it turns out in this final he's lost to another women's player, this time Kim Eunji.
Wow.
So Kim Eunji ended up winning this rookie competition, and I believe it's the first time a woman has won a rookie competition in Korea.
Wow. Yeah.
We have had Japanese women win rookie competitions. Asami has won the Young Cup twice in a row now, and before her, Fujisawa Arena won the Young Cup. I believe that's for 20 players aged 25 years and younger.
Yep.
I'm not sure what the age limit for this rookie competition is. I think it was like 21 or 22 or something like that.
Okay. Yep.
But yeah, interestingly enough, she did something that Choi Jong has not managed to do, and that is win a co-ed competition. All of Choi Jong's titles are in women's only tournaments.
Yeah. Of course, Choi Jong recently just made a final of one domestic tournament. Of course, also the final.
Yeah, we mentioned
of the Samsung Cup. So
the GS Cup. Oh yeah, she made the final of the Samsung Cup. Yes.
Yeah. And I don't think there's anything too crazy here, except that Kim Eunji at age 16 have won a rookie competition, a mixed or an open one. So
a co-ed competition.
Yeah. So congratulations, and this is Lee Chang-ho there giving out the trophies, and look how happy Kim Eunji is. I mean, she's got such a bright future in front of her. And I'm really glad that she's gotten over her cheating scandal. I'm also kind of a little bit glad that she kind of got away. She kind of just made some errors while she's really, really young, so she had ample time to recover and learn from those mistakes, and she's gonna go from strength to strength in the future. So this is awesome. Now, by the way, the winner's purse for this competition is 10 million won. So that would be around about 1/7, below 1/7 of the Kuksu Mountains Cup. Of course, it's a rookie competition, so it's not as weighty as the bigger boys in terms of competition, but still very, very worthwhile prize for Kim and Ji. So congrats to Kim. And Gaza,
yes.
With this, I think it's time to look at the calendar. Now, Gaza, I did mention that we might see...
Actually, there is something that I quickly want to mention.
Yep.
We have the European Go Congress.
Oh, yes, that's right, yes.
Happening. I haven't looked at the results, but there are a lot of competitions going on. I believe, like the US Go Congress finished recently, and they had basically a Masters event and an Open event. I believe the European Go Congress has similar things. They have the European Open and the European Championship. Maybe that's what they call it. Now, has the European Open been completed?
I'm not really sure which one is the open competition, but the European Go Championship looks like it's still being live broadcast as we speak on Twitch. So you probably want to go and check it out. So it's twitch.tv/European Go Federation. That's where the games are being shown. It's got live commentary as well in English. So I guess well worth a watch.
I noticed that one of the commentators there, Stephen Hu, he actually came to Sydney once just to check out the Sydney Go Club. This was several years ago, pre-COVID. Very lovely fella. Obviously very very big ambassador. For Go.
He does a lot of work in promoting Go as well, right?
Yes, that's what I mean. I would love to see him if he's able to. I would love to see him at the next Australian Go Congress. Obviously, though I'm not really sure. Not really sure how that could be arranged. Traveling to Australia is quite expensive from the US. So.
If I'm not wrong, he has a company in Beijing that develops Go-related software. I'm not quite sure on that one, maybe. Definitely, I definitely have seen him, and I've seen him so many times, and he definitely has been promoting Go for a long time. So longevity is something that we can all respect.
And In Seong Kwang, I believe he just released a new book of Sumigo, a new Sumigo book. I noticed he posted something on the Baduk subreddit about that. It actually looks like a really interesting book. It's not just, it's instead of like typical Sumigo where it's like here's a problem, black to play the best move. It's like it's a full board position.
Right.
And you basically have to find where there would be a Sumigo. If you understand what I'm saying, like you have to determine like what positions are already sort of settled and what positions are unsettled.
So it's more like
that's more like a real game situation.
That's actually very interesting because I think we also know, like a common acquaintance, he's also published something like a whole board kind of position thing, but it's still...
yes. One of the... David, you're talking about David Mitchell.
That's right.
Yes. And we should actually... maybe in the next episode we can... Or in a later episode, we can mention these books because David Mitchell's book is extremely interesting.
Yes.
I don't know anything. I really don't know much about In Seong's book apart from what he's posted on the Baduk subreddit. But David Mitchell's book I know quite a bit about. I obviously have a copy, and it's maybe it's something that we can discuss next time.
And some of
Diabolical. For anyone who's already curious, the book is by David Mitchell, and it's called Diabolical.
Diabolical. Yes. Like Diablo.
We might post a link to it in the description.
Yeah, might do that. Now, Gaza, sometimes I just want to quickly discuss the philosophy behind some of these, whole board position books. Because I remember when I was, practicing soccer, my soccer coach used to say this. He says, well, you never strike a ball while the ball is stationary, unless you're in penalty. So when you practice shooting, you should always have the ball moving. So he would just, move the ball around, and then we have to run after the ball and then practice our shooting that way. So it's kind of more, he tried to simulate what happens in real games. And I think what this whole board position Sumego kind of gives me the sense of is that it's trying to tell me what it's like to solve real Sumegos during real games. And one of our strong player friends, he said, well, knowing Sumiko really well just maybe sometimes give you an extra move. So, for example, if you think your group's going to live no matter what, then you can just play elsewhere. You don't have to.
Yes, I completely know what you're saying. Is someone at my level, a single-digit Q player, who on very special days I can play double-digit Q for sure.
Yeah.
But yes, it's one of the things that I think is a weakness of mine is knowing when I can play a sente move.
Yeah.
And when I don't.
Yeah.
When I can't play a sente move, when I have to defend, make one more move.
Yeah. 100%. So all very interesting. So that's it. That's all the talking I was going to do while you were looking for some links, but I guess the links didn't come. But because
I did find the links.
Yeah.
I did actually find the link. It was Kim Yoon-ji's tournament. I mean, I'll send you a link now. It turns out it wasn't my
Yeah. Well, guys, while you look for the links, I'm gonna go through what we have in the calendar.
Yeah. No, I posted you the link. Yeah, the tournament that I was talking about wasn't Kim Yoon-ji's tournament that she won. It wasn't a double elimination, but it did feature amateur players.
Yes. That's very nice.
Yes.
So that's the Kim Yoon-ji, and of course the European Go Championship is currently being live streamed, so do give that a watch. And what have we got coming up, Gaza, over the next week?
Well, I mean, the biggest one, and to be honest, I'm a little bit regretful that we don't have a proper preview for this, but we have a world major starting this week, and that is the MLily Cup.
Yes.
It starts on the 3rd of August.
Yes, 3rd of August. Now, guys, I did mention that we're going to see Iyama and Ichiriki again. Well, we are, because they are playing each other in the Beijing Challenger Final playoff on Sunday. But I think they came.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think they came equal first in the Beijing League. So yeah, there we go.
That's right. They did come equal first in the Beijing League.
Yeah.
Did you want to quickly bring up that league?
I guess we can. We got Nihon Keen's web page, and then we're gonna go to the Beijing League
That's
page.
where you would find it. Yeah.
Apologies. So this is the Beijing League. Let me turn that into English. The current Beijing, I believe, is Shibano.
It is Shibano. He won the Beijing against Iyama.
And in the Beijing League, the playoffs are Honinbo, which is Yama. He's on 7-1 record, and Ichiriki, the Kisei, on 7-1 record.
Yes, that's right. There are 9 players in the Honinbo League. The top 6, by the way, they keep their spot. Only 3 players are able to qualify each year. Sorry, the Beijing League, not the Honinbo League. The Beijing League. Now, so you need to finish. Now, if you win the league, you will challenge.
Yeah.
If there is a tie in wins, if there's only 2 players tied for wins, then they play off. If there are 3 or more players, then the top 2 in the hierarchy will play off. And the hierarchy is based on your position in the previous year's league.
Yeah.
In this case, it doesn't matter. Well, it doesn't matter for the playoff because only there were exactly 2 players that finished on 7 wins.
Yeah.
So they will have a 1-game playoff. Whoever wins that game will be the challenger. Now, if you look
further though, you see we've got Yu Zhengqi with 5 wins. So he finished 3rd. So that not only does he keep his spot in next year's tournament, but he'll be the 3rd in the hierarchy.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
Yes. It's basically like a tiebreaker.
With 4 wins, we've got Yamashita Keigo. We've got Su Xiaowan, and we've got Cho Yu. Now, it looks like they've actually decided that 4 players will have to qualify next year. So maybe they've changed the Meijin rules so that only 5 players get to keep their spot.
Yeah, okay. A bit more competitive. It's good.
Yes, they might have changed the rules. And so what's happened is because there are 3 players equal 4th, but Yamashita Keigo and Su Xiaowan, they're higher in the hierarchy because they were in the league last year, whereas Cho Yu was not in the league last year. He had to qualify for this year's league. And unfortunately for him, because of that, he's going to have to qualify next year as well.
Oh, wow.
A bit unfortunate. It seems a bit unfair that just because you were in the league last year, that means that you get to stay in the league this year, whereas if you qualified, you just need to keep qualifying. It seems like doesn't seem like it's a great tournament for promoting new chances. But oh well, it doesn't matter. And then we've got Shida Tatsuya. He finished with 3 wins, and then Sada Atsushi and Fujita Akihiro only managed a single win, so they're going to have to qualify again next year.
Yeah.
But in any case, the big news is that Iyama and Ichiriki, they both finished on 7 wins. All of the last games, by the way, the last game of the round were all played on the same day. All of the first 7 rounds, they have a shifting schedule based on availability, I would suppose.
Yeah.
But the final game, they're all played at the same time. I'm guessing that's to avoid any sort of collusion.
Yeah, just like in the World Cup, I guess, Soccer World Cup, Football World Cup. Yeah.
But in the end, Iyama and Ichiriki, they both won their last round games, so they're going to have to play each other yet again, and then the winner will be challenging Shibano. Yeah,
wow. That's so that's it for the Meijin Challenger final. I think there's another big game next Monday. GX Caltex Cup final game 3, Chojong versus Byun Sangil.
Yes, and this is game 3 of 5.
Yeah.
Byun Sangil is up 2-0, so potentially this will be the final game. I think it will be the final game. I think that Byun Sangil.
Big call.
I think that Byun Sangil will prevail.
Yep. And what I can't see anything else too interesting. Of course, we already mentioned the MLily Cup.
Well, the MLily Cup. Can we just try and at least give a few players that are going to be in it? Because I know that this is one of the biggest world majors in terms of field size. There are 64 players. I don't think there are any active world majors that have that many players.
I think as far as I know, only the Chinese competition have ever had 64 players in the field. The
Weiqi Cup used to have 64 players.
Yeah.
But the Weiqi Cup's not
around Gaza, there we go. I have the MLily Cup list now.
Yes.
Let me just read it out. It just came out 2 hours ago, actually. That's the MLily Cup. So apologies, it's all in Chinese at the moment. So, what we have is China. We have 32 players.
Yep.
Korea 14, Japan 11, Taiwan 3, North America 2, and Europe 2. So that's going to be a big field, and I'm hoping for some upsets. I definitely want to see some upsets. But guys, let me read out the names. So this is from China, the mainland China. So Gu Zihao, Gu Li, Mi Yuting, Xie Ke, Li Xuanhao, Ding Hao, Yang Dingxin, Tang Weixin, Xi Yue, Zhao Chenyu. The rest of the names maybe... there's still some big names in the rest of the names. We've got Liu Yuhang. I think he's a Jia Liga. Yang Kaiwan. Huang Mingyu. I believe he's got a place in the Jia League, but not that famous yet. I've got Chen Xian, who performed really well in the Jia League last year. I've got Xi Jiayang, Liao Yunhe, Lian Xiao, Deng Yifei, Yan Huan. He might have been a Jia League in the past, but may not be a coach, so he also made it. Gu Lingyi, To Jiaxi, He Yuhan, Li Weiqing, Wen Xinghao, Xie Ke, Xie Hao, Fan Tingyu, Tan Xiao, and 2 women's players, Yu Zhiying and Zhou Hongyu. I don't know the second last player, Wang Xunbo.
That's an amateur.
Yeah, okay. And then Hu Yiqing. That's one of the 4 Heavenly Kings from China. So he's a big name amateur player.
Did you say Gu Li?
Yeah, Gu Li.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's got a invitation, or I don't imagine he qualified, but he's probably
I don't
just
think
got
he
given
qualified.
he probably just got given a place for some reason.
Fair enough.
Yeah, okay, so we've got Gu Li going on there. And from Korea, we have Won Songjin, Park Hong-seok, who famously beat Sun Jin-seo this year, Hong Seong-ji, Park Jun-hwan, An Sun-jun, Choi Jong, Byun Sangil, Shin Min-jun, Shin Jin-seo, Kim Min-hyun, Park Gwen-ho. This guy, I don't know his name, but his name starts with Won something.
Wait,
And then
Won Han. What does it say?
In Chinese, the Chinese pronunciation would be very different to Korean, so I would have no idea what his Korean name is. So
I believe there are 2 amateurs. I believe there might be 2 amateurs.
Right.
In this one.
And there's the next 2. I also don't know what their names are, but I never heard of them. One is got a surname of Choi. The other one's got a surname of Park.
Oh wait, Won Chae-hoon? It could be Won Chae-hoon.
Yeah, that sounds about it. Yeah, sounds about that, right? So I don't know.
He's a pro though. Sorry, he's a pro. Won Chae-hoon. He's a 3-dan pro. So yeah, bit of a that one's a bit of a surprise.
Yeah. So, but I guess he qualified.
He did qualify. He did qualify. He beat Park Min-kyu and Gom Ji-woo.
Oh wow. That means he's actually pretty strong, because he beat some Korean league players. So that's the Korean 14-player list. Now Japan has 11 players. It does feel it's a bit overweight for Japan, but hey, whatever. So Japan's got Ichiriki, Ryo, Shibano Toramaru, Iyama Yuta, Seki Kotaro. Interesting. And then Yamashita Keigo, Shu Chaeyeon, Ita Asushi, Motoki Tatsuya, I think. I don't know his name. Motoki something. I can't remember what it was. Yeah. Motoki Katsuya, maybe. I can't remember. Yu Zhengqi, Onishi Ryose, I think.
Yeah, Onishi Ryuhei. He was in the Korean League. Didn't win a game.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. And then last but not least, Ueno Asami. That's a good one. I look.
Asami.
Yes. Nice. So that's at least 4 women's players in this list so far. At least.
Yeah. Disappointed that of the 11 Japanese players, none of them were Kono Rin.
Yeah. Okay. Not so disappointed for me. But then we got Taiwan 3, Chen Qirui, Xu Yaohong, and Lai Junfu. Of course, Lai Junfu was in red hot form recently. So yeah.
Wait, Chen Qirui. Okay, it says on the Go To Everyone page that it was Lin Bixuan who qualified, not Chen Qirui. But
yeah, okay.
Apparently, I trust your source. I think To Everyone website sometimes makes mistakes.
Yes, I think he may just have mistaken the 2, but I don't know how you could mistake the 2. But stranger things have happened, Gaza. So in the North America, Kevin Yang, Alex Chi or Alexander Chi. So
I really hope. Now Kevin Yang was meant to participate in the Chujor Lanka.
Yes.
in the end, he did not because of studies. I really hope that he did this one.
Studies. How can studies be more important than international comp? Maybe just me.
And then who we got from Europe?
In Europe, we got Stanislaw Frajak and Benjamin Green Isaiah.
Yeah, I believe Benjamin was last year's European champion.
That's right. That's how he got it.
Perhaps that's why he was selected.
Despite being technically an amateur.
Well, no, he's not technically an amateur. He's definitely an amateur.
Oh, yes. We have, and then of course the Stanislaw is 1P from Poland, I believe.
Yes.
So that's it.
Yeah, so it's a big tournament. Hopefully by our next podcast, only the first 2 rounds will have taken place. So that would be the round of 64, round of 32.
Yeah.
For anyone curious, I don't believe Shinjin So has even made the round of 16 in this tournament in the past.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But then again, the last time it was held was, 2020? Something like that.
Yeah. So
but you need to win a lot of games to win this, and very interesting. I must say it's very impressive that for such a big tournament, Miyu Ting has won it twice.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the first time he's won it was like 19, and then he had to win it 7 years later, or something like that. So yeah. So looking for
another interesting thing, something that I just curiously wanted to mention. Do you remember Baekhyun Woo from the Kicks team?
Oh yeah.
In the Korean League.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's obviously, a top player in Korea now, like good enough to make the Korean League. Last year, in the last MLily Cup, he competed as an amateur.
Oh, wow.
Yes, he beat Matsura Yuta and Ilya Shikshin.
Yes, I remember that, yes.
And then lost to Sherker. But just crazy that the MLily Cup is so... Like the last edition was so long ago.
Yeah.
That one of the amateur players in it is now a top level pro.
Yeah, wow. Let's not speak about the In Cup, I guess. So there we go. MLily Cup coming up next week. Looking forward to it.
Yes, super good.
So I guess, Gaza, that concludes the calendar and therefore the end of another episode.
Yes, hopefully we'll be able to have another one next week.
Yes, really hope. So with that, it's